Okay, guys, so this is an interesting story that I wanted to talk about here. And it's been some time since this happened, but it's a story I never really got into ever before. And my buddy Scott Davenport suggested that I tell the story because this is an interesting one. So I'm not gonna, say too much here. We'll just get right into things. But basically, it was 2018, and Eddie Hall messaged me, and they were basically looking at me for the World Deadlift Championships, which is the event. I think Larry's done it. Jamal just did it. You have to go conventional. You can use straps. You can wear a suit, and it usually occurs in the UK. And the top strongman guys go and do it, and that's where Eddie Hall set the 500 kilo deadlift initially. And it was in 2018. Eddie basically said, hope you're doing well. And he was asking what I thought. He thought I could hit in a suit with straps for the World Deadlift Championships coming up in July. So this was 8 months prior. And, I was really interested in doing that at the time. And I pushed myself. I had a meet, I think, in March where I think I only pulled, it was like, I don't know. I think I tried 876 and my grip slipped at the top. So deadlift was still pretty strong, but and the straps would have helped a lot. But honestly, you got to a point at this point in time where I was kind of burnt out on the heavy weights and the heavy steroid cycles and such to that degree. So, it never obviously came to fruition. They were looking at things, and I think they wanted me to be in that 950, 1,000 pound range, which I never gave the suit a shot. He said the suit would add 15 to 20 kilos. I'm reading it right now to my deadlift. And obviously straps would help because the limiting factor in meets was always grip. But it just was one of those things where it felt like I just got a little run down with these heavy cycles, and I wanted to go a different, course in life, so to speak. So a lot of people would have at that point gone all in and done whatever it took to achieve that goal, to be invited there. So that I could have set myself up for doing a heavy cycle of tren and stuff, and pulling a big lift in the gym, even in that 950, 1,000 pound range with a suit and straps. But it was one of those things where you get to a point and it's like, do you value your future or do you value that moment more? And Eddie's talked about it himself, where he was literally like on the brink of death when he would be on these cycles leading up to his World's Strongest Man achievement and the 500 kilo deadlift achievement. And even for myself, when I was the strongest, it was like a tunnel vision as far as, doing whatever it took to achieve that goal at that point in time. Very similar to now training for the 100-mile race in the mountains. It's not something I'll probably ever do again, but it's like I'm all in at this point in time on that goal to achieve that goal. And then whatever, happens after that, so be it. But just for this point in time, I'm all in on it. And it was like that with lifting. It was like that when chasing these huge numbers and the 2,100 pound total and all that sort of stuff. It was like I'm all in that moment to do whatever it takes. I'm going to take whatever it takes. So I get that mindset. But it got to a point in time where I was just like almost burnt out on the cycles. It was just like I can't mentally take this and continue to do this to my body and seeing people around me pass away. And I have to I want to pivot. So that was kind of one of the pivotal moments where it was like there were two paths that diverged. You could either go all in and keep doing what you're doing and, possibly alter your life completely, but have this huge opportunity, or you can go the other way and you won't get the fame and attention, but it's almost like you'll have a more sustainable future. You'll have a better future. And so that was why the World Deadlift Championships never really came to fruition. I had to make a choice, and that was shortly, I think, or that was about a year and a half before I came off. So already at that point, one of the things I haven't talked about extensively is before I came off, which was November of 2020, there was about a year and a half, 2 year period where I just took way less. Like I just cruised for longer on 250 milligrams of testosterone. I stopped taking tren, obviously. I took much milder cycles. I just basically was testosterone, Anavar, and NPP, nandrolone, and those were the three things that I basically took at lower dosages. Um, and I just wasn't feeling it with the crazy heavy cycles. Uh, and then just it became less and less. I tried to get by on less and less, and I tried to take longer periods of time where I was taking less, where I was doing a cruise dose, so to speak. And that was already starting to unfold before I even came off. I just was at a point where I was like, man, my body, you feel it. You feel the toxicity basically on a daily basis when you're in that state where you're on like a heavy cycle. You know, if you get to the end of a meet prep as a serious lifter, a lot of these guys get sick, and I would basically get sick like every 2 to 3 weeks out before a meet. Usually 3 weeks out before a meet, I'd get sick. I'd get a cold for about a week. Just headaches from the blood pressure. You'd feel the liver toxicity in the sense you'd be nauseous a lot of times. Things like halotestin would do that. And it just wasn't a fun state to be in, but it's also when you're at your strongest. So when you're at your strongest in the gym, you feel the crummiest outside of the gym. And that was where I was at. And it got to a point, you're 28 years old and you're just like, I've been doing this for 8 years in this manner, pushing it to the max. And I just want something different. I want to live a healthier life and lead a healthier life. So that's kind of what happened with that. And that's kind of one of the things that led me down the road I am now. And it's just a story that I haven't really touched on too much. I don't know if it's ever come up. So, and the other thing I want to get into this, like my clients, the guys I coach now, it's so much more fun for me to see them hit PRs. Back in the day, it was almost like I couldn't be happy unless I was hitting the PRs, unless I was improving, I was stronger. I was stronger than everybody else. And now I almost have like this inner peace of like, there could be people stronger than me and it doesn't bother me at all. And I just want to see everyone get better. Like when my guys do good in meets or hit PRs in the gym, that truly is like, feels so good. Whereas I never could feel that before. When I was like, it was all about my performance and what I could do and what I had to do. And I think, I've talked about my faith. I think the Lord has done that for me too, in a sense, where I'm much more at peace. I'm much more centered. I'm not as like, the pride, obviously pride is there for all of us to some degree, but it's not what it was. And it's more in control, in check, so to speak. But it's just, I don't think I ever could, and I don't think I ever could have furthered my relationship with the Lord if I was still taking cycles and stuff. It's just more of an egotistical thing where I was like took so much pride in myself and my accomplishments that it was all me doing it. So I think this decision has been a catalyst for having a daughter, having a stronger marriage, all this sort of stuff. And I'm just healthier overall, obviously. I look completely different. You guys have seen that. So it led me down this unique path, but it's kind of a fun path too, where the pressure is not on me as much. Like I don't feel like my gym performance is going to make or break anything, whereas the weight of the world was on my shoulders back then. Like I felt like I had to hit these PRs or more or less you become irrelevant. So it's allowed me to kind of be healthier and go down a different path and still see my guys smash PRs. And I'll start posting some of that stuff up soon as far as what my guys are doing and all that. I'm still training hard for the 100-mile race. As I said, I got about 14 weeks to go. I'm running about 65 miles a week, lifting twice a week right now. It's going to ramp up after the race back to 4, but a lot of mileage, so I've had to cut the lifting back to some extent. Still benching like 305. Just missed the 315 bench. It was so close. So pretty happy with that, given the limited exercise I'm doing as far as lifting. Hitting split squats hard, hitting back extensions hard. I did 190 last week on split squats for 12 reps each leg. I did back extensions yesterday with 300 pounds. So when I pulled the 705, my back extension was like 5 reps at 365, and now I'm at 2 sets of 6 with 300. So not that far off. I'm just really going to give it everything I got going into this, and then that might be a wrap on the 100-mile thing. Just one and done, bucket list, one of the hardest races. Bighorn 100, 18,500 feet of climbing during the race. It's going to be a beatdown, but I'm training my butt off, taking it very serious. And then, maybe we'll chase after like a 750 deadlift goal after that and scale back the running to an extent. So a lot of good stuff coming up. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Check out my sponsor, Barbell Apparel, and hit me up if you're interested in coaching. All that good stuff. Appreciate you guys. God bless.